Hello everyone, this is Nick from the FTW podcast, Atomic Geek here on the server. As you can see, I have Bray Wyatt as my skin, not just because he's my favorite wrestler in the WWE, but I've been told that I bear striking resemblance to him, which you can see for yourself in our Facebook group. As to why we're here, recently I did a lot of expansion work on my house, and Garvin suggested that it merited a video all of its own. So, without further ado, let's begin the grand tour. I'm starting out here in the shop, just so you can take a look at all the work that Garvin's done here, which he's shown you in past videos. But specifically, we're going to start here with the rails. Now, this is our northbound rail house. Southbound rail house is over on the other side. And it takes you to the tunnel, which we got going. But right here, we've got Skyrail, which we're going to use to get to my house. And that's just so you can see my house coming in. Now, up here, we're coming up on my stop right here. And this is my leg of the Skyrail, which I built. Garvin has mentioned the work he's done on all the sports he's done for the Skyrail. And I put in a few myself with the mossy brick, just so that it fit with the rest of the sports he did on the Skyrail. Here we are. This is my house, right over here. And here we are. That's where I pick up my minecart. And initially I set this up as sort of a wizard's tower to put enchantments and brewing and whatnot over here. But I built this before I really got a handle on all that stuff, so I didn't have any of the equipment I needed, and it's just been empty until I set up my leg of the Skyrail and use this as my stop, really. So I may have to figure out something to put in all this empty space here. But that's for another time. In here, we've got the lobby for the original house I built. Upstairs, this is where I had my bed and my regular belongings and whatnot. And up here, this was where I had my work area. So it's got some furnaces, a crafting table, and an anvil. And it's also got windows, so it's also got windows so you can see outside, see what time it is. Out this way, we have my animal pen. Now, you may be wondering why I've got so much open space here. Well, when I first built this, it was to grow trees for wood for future expansions. But when we started selling wood blocks and saplings and all that in the shop, that kind of made this area redundant. So I cleared it out, and I set up a little garden. Unfortunately, with my expansion work, that included a garden down below, which I'll show you in a minute, so that made that redundant as well. So I just decided to use this as an animal pen. And over here we have Barry, Popo the pig, because I'm a child, Basil, my brown sheep, Lamb Chop, and Dolly. In here, we got my fishing room. Just a nice tame little area where I don't have to worry about getting attacked by mobs. So, that's that. As we exit the fishing house, or fishing room rather, and my animal pen, get out of the way, Basil, I'll take you to my dock area. It's nothing really special, just a place where I can enjoy the view. I built some slips for rowboats and whatnot, just for appearance's sake. And I think it's a pretty nice view, if I do say so myself. Down there, you'll notice some glowstone, seemingly in the middle of nowhere. So let's go check that out and see what's down there. Oh, a tunnel made out of iron blocks. It's not something you see every day. Well, this is the underwater access to the first floor of my subterranean expansion. And as you can see, part of it's encased in glass so you can see outside into the water. And it's just a nice place to stand and enjoy the view. Over on the other side, I have a fireplace and a bearskin rug for ambiance, as well as the tree and the bushes in front of the glowstone, which I shamelessly stole from Garvin. Credit to him for the idea. This was sort of my idea. I got the idea to use the trapdoors as boxes from the Lynch Clinch, one of the other users here on the server. And I thought it made a nice look for glowstone set up around the room, just because it doesn't block the light like a wood block would. So that's nice. As we go over here, you can see my cats. There's Orion. I named him Orion after the cat in Men in Black because that's one of my favorite movies. Mister, named after the cat in the Dresden Files, which is one of my favorite book series. And Garfield, because I only know two orange cats. Those are Garfield and Heathcliff, and Garfield is way more awesome. So yeah, going downstairs, this takes us to the hub. And it's the hub because you can get to just about any part of my house from this area. Or, excuse me, any part of the new expansions of my house from this area. First, we're going to start with the monster dungeon. Now, my original idea for this was to set up individual cells, much like this, and I'd use spawn eggs to throw over the top of the bars into the cells, and that's how I'd populate my dungeon. Unfortunately, the claim system we use on this server, it's a property claim system to avoid griefing from outside sources. And the way spawn eggs work, they can be thrown inside somebody's claim, and the mob will spawn there, whether or not the person that threw it in there owns the claim. So we decided not to sell those on shop, and I've just been relying on mobs to spawn in the cells naturally. So over here in the Gen Pop cell area, I've got a couple zombies, and I was kind of fortunate that I had a zombie pigman spawn in this one, which is pretty unusual if you're not in the Nether. And the way I've been keeping them in here, I've used name tags to help them stick around because they don't despawn when you give them names. I'm kind of disappointed because I had a creeper spawn in here, and I was kind of hesitant about using a name tag on that one, just because you chop out a hole here, and if it's easy, it'll blow up in your face, and I didn't really want to rebuild the jail system. So I was hoping he'd still be around for this video, but apparently his sentence is up. So, if I can get out, leaving the dungeon area, we'll go counterclockwise here. You can see some paintings on the wall for extra ambiance. And here's my shooting range. It says here mobile and stationary targets. You'll see why in just a second. So over here, we've got the mobile target area, and there's a creeper right there. And I'll show you why I set this area aside. Basically, this is for mobs to spawn naturally. And when they do, I shoot them until they die and drop their experience and loot. And this is a little passageway to go out and collect the loot once you're sure there's nothing else out there that will kill you. So that's interesting. And here on the side, I have a cautionary sign for anybody else that wants to use this area. Management will not be held responsible for injuries or deaths suffered while looting. So if I let you in here and you go out and something spawns and kills you, that is on you. Over here we got the stationary targets. So these are just targets I set up with different colored wool blocks. You know, just in case you want to practice your archery. And here is your arrow box, which I will restock later. And just some bows for you to use. Leaving the range. Right down here we have the storage room, which is basically just what it says. Got stone, brick, iron, and coal. Regular building blocks over here, planks and logs. Dirt and glass over here. Fences, ladders, torches, and door things. Here's where I keep my redstone items. Wools and dyes. Drops from mobs, which I call mob leavings. And mob leavings 2, the mobbening. My toolboxes. Leashes, tags, and eggs. Eggs everywhere because I get a lot of eggs. And noms, which is where I keep all my food, as you can see there. And just for fun, I put our logo up top, or on the walls there, FTW. And then just because I'm a Taz fan, I put 13 at the bottom just for kicks. So, Leaving the storage area. There's a fireplace. How nice that is. Here's my garden area. It's pretty extensive. Right here we got potatoes growing. Over on the far side there's carrots. Got a couple rows of watermelons, and on the far side there, it's all wheat. And in the middle of the room, I've got a couple little ponds surrounded by sugarcane. Just whenever I need that for sugar and paper and books and whatnot. I don't have an automated system in place, just because that would be a pretty massive undertaking, and just because of the size involved. But that'll probably be a future project, and you may see that in video form in the future. Leaving the garden, oh, almost skipped over something. On the other side of the stairwell here, we got my armory. And this is just the leather, gold, chainmail armor. All this in here is enchanted armor, which I picked up from mobs either out in the wild or in one of the spawn traps we got set up. And over here I've got my bows, again also all enchanted, and iron swords for whenever I have occasion to pick those up. Scattered throughout we got furnaces for if I want to smelt something down. I don't want to go all the way down to the foundry, which I'll show you in a minute. And crafting tables and anvils as well. Heading back up. Taking you into the garden. Next on the itinerary is my room. So, a little different from the rest of the house that I've shown you. Outside this room, I used nether brick and birch wood, just because I like the look of nether brick, and I wanted floors that would contrast with that. So since birch wood is the lightest toned wood, I used that, and I think it's pretty nice. But in here, I wanted to do something different, so I set up walls of iron blocks, and I used blue carpet for the floor. And this is where I keep my really valuable stuff. The diamonds, the emeralds, ender pearls, extra diamond stuff, and also TNT. Because TNT is kind of a controlled substance on the server. We don't let everybody use it. Just because we don't really have any griefers per se. But we do have a couple of mischievously inclined members that like to play practical jokes every once in a while, and a couple of those jokes turn explosive. So that's why it's a controlled substance. In here, I got a separate little growing room for nether wart, for potions and whatnot. And I don't really know why I didn't set that up in the garden. I think I wanted to set this up as sort of a speakeasy back room kind of deal, just for my own personal amusement. Oh, another thing, the iron doors. Elsewhere in the house, I've used wooden doors, except for entrances outside. So in case somebody does happen to get in here through whatever means, they can get into the other rooms pretty easily, because using the claim system, doors aren't... People can still use doors even if they're on your claim, but they cannot use the iron doors and the buttons here. So that's just an added security measure, just in case somebody I don't want in my area does happen to get in here. Going over here. Here is my little water escalator down to my work area. We're at my foundry, my library, and my brewery. And you go in here, and you can see this little water escalator. Aren't we having fun? It's a little lengthy because I dug kind of far down for my next level. Alright, here we are. So starting here, we have the library. And this is where I keep my enchantment stations. Got one here and on the opposite side, and then two more in the far corners over there, which you can see now. I also set up some lounging area, like you'll see in your local public library, possibly. And just for added decoration, I took flower pots and mushrooms that you can find in witches' huts and set them up at various points of the library. So there's that. In here we have the foundry, and just a wall of furnaces, and this is where I do my large-scale smelting. So over here you can see I've been making some more regular stone, some anvils, and a carpet and a crafting table. So this is basically where I go in case whenever I need to build something. On this side, we have the brewing room, and I've got several brewing stands set up for mass potion creation. Over here, got the finished potions, night vision, regeneration, swiftness, strength, invisibility, splash potions of poison. Also made some splash potions of swiftness accidentally. Over here, we got some empty glass bottles, some splash potions of harming, and I made several splash potions of healing, just for spawn tower usage. We've got spawn towers set up for zombies and skeletons, and both of those are vulnerable to the healing potions. So instead of sitting there whacking away at individual mobs for like 5 minutes, whenever you get a large number of them built up, you can just use a few of these. It'll hit all of them instantly, and just a few, and they're all dead, which is a nice rush of experience and loot. Oh, almost forgot. Over here, this is where I keep all my ingredients. So nether wart for the base of the potions, and then just all of these on the other hand. Water pools for glass bottles to fill with, and that's that. So down here, I dug all the way to the bottom, to the bedrock level, and there's a little sign, welcome to hell, just because of the fire and brimstone nature of the place. This is where I do all my mining now, underneath my house, and I've found a lot of pockets of redstone, lapis, and diamonds. No emeralds yet, but there's also been plenty of coal and iron and what have you. So I've been pretty lucky in what I've been able to find. So that does it for the work area. Now, let's go back upstairs. And this is a little access way for going back upstairs, since it's kind of hard to go back up against the water. Now, you see this little bit of redstone here, and you see this little piston. Well, the idea here is that the piston will retract and open up the exit to the hub. Unfortunately, I have not been able to figure out a way to activate that piston from down here without breaking the redstone. I don't think I left myself enough space in the initial construction phase in order to do what I want here, so we're just going to do something really ghetto and shop that block out. And hooray, hub. But let's put that back here, and I'll show you what I had going on here. See, all these paintings are set up around this floor to distract from this one in particular. And behind it, I have set up a little hidey hole and a switch for the piston. And voila, it retracts, so you can see the access way. So eventually I may figure out a way to power it from within there. But for the moment, we're just going to stick with our ghetto escape. And unfortunately, with the piston under there and the redstone and whatnot, anytime you turn it on, the trapdoors come back down. So that's a little bit annoying. But what are you going to do? Alright, final section of this tour is my experimental weapons facility. So we're going here, see that switch over there, see the lighting maintenance room, which I'll show you in a minute. And what I'm going to do now, actually, what I'm going to do here is give you a little glimpse inside the killing room, and I'll show you why it's a killing room in just a minute. See, it's all light in there. I flip this switch, and it opens the door, but it also does a whole lot more. Now it's dark, mostly. And I'll show you why as we go around the corner here. There's another switch, but more about that in just a moment. Here is an upper level where I've set up a couple of viewing balconies. Okay, now you can see, aside from that zombie there, you can see all these pistons here, and where there's trapdoors, there are pistons there also. Those are covering up glowstone that let light into the room. And you see lava flowing, and it's going down because there's also pistons behind that stone wall that block off the lava. So when you flip the switch, the pistons go back up, light goes into the room, and lava begins flowing down in front of that monstrosity there. Now, what I've got here is a machine gun construct. And I can't claim credit for the design. I adapted it from a video made by FTWcraft, I believe, is the YouTube channel. They're the guys that I drew inspiration from. So, there's that there. And as the lava is going out, the room descends into almost total darkness. And I need to take down that torch over there. But yeah, the general idea here is the mobs spawn in darkness, and after I've let some grow and get up in numbers, once the zombie gets some friends, basically, I flip the switch back on so that the mob stops spawning and the lava comes back down in front of the machine gun construct. And the general idea there is the lava will set the arrows that fire out of the machine gun on fire, and will strike the mobs, set them on fire, and mass chaos will ensue. So let's go back down, and I'll show you the guts of the operation just before I turn this thing on. So here's the guts. I'm still pretty new at redstone pathing, so I used a lot of the example that FTWcraft provided when I set this up. But here's just a look for yourselves if you want to duplicate this. And for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to extend, or decrease rather, the delay in the response for when I do this. So I've just turned the machine gun on, and I'm hoping that there's enough delay so that I can get to the viewing balcony before it starts firing. Oh, I screwed up. I want to turn the lights back on before this thing starts firing. So turn that off. Go back over here to the first switch you saw and turn the lights back on. So that'll let the lava flow back down in front of the construct. And I'll give it just a few seconds to let the lava flow start back up again. And turn that sucker back on. So there should be enough time to get to the back viewing balcony, so you can see it from the front. Oh. So it already got some shots off before I turn it back off, but I don't think those are all the arrows there. So let's sit here for a few moments and see if there's any arrows left. This zombie has no idea what's coming. Here we go. Behold. Alright, now it's out of arrows. And unfortunately, the zombie did not walk into the killing area. But the general idea is mobs will spawn en masse in the darkened room. And you turn the lights back on, let the lava start flowing again, turn the construct on, and fire arrows will come out en masse to slaughter the hapless mobs in front of them. So, yeah, there you go. That's it for now. If you liked what you saw, give this video a like or a comment on additions or improvements that I could make and you'd like to see in the future. If you want a place to talk about Minecraft or any other games you care to mention, or if you'd like to find out how to join the server and build stuff like this, check out our Facebook group, FTW Gaming. That's all from me. I'll see you next time.